How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. This is one of the most interesting videos I think I've made in a long time. I'm getting goosebumps because someone is being shut down from talking about Bitcoin. And this is something that I covered during the bear market because it happened, I don't know, a year and a half ago, but there's no one really around. People didn't care about Bitcoin at the time. And the government is keeping someone quiet about Bitcoin. It sounds like a conspiracy, but it's not. It's literally happening. And I want to show you that. I want to talk about what's happening there. And then I'll get into some of the fun flows from yesterday, what's happening with BlackRock Fidelity, because that was quite interesting. It's not what I think anyone really expected. If you don't mind, though, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this. If you're bullish after today, if you are bullish, go check out Margex underneath the video. There you can trade cryptocurrencies on leverage. You can start trading with as little as a few dollars. And if you like the platform, you can put on more. You can scale up your trades. I am going to be posting a video here very soon on something that I did recently called the stack, which gave me a really good return on a long recently. It's been fantastic. So be on the lookout for that. There's no KYC. You don't need a VPN. You can get traded. You can start trading within just a few minutes. And they have great customer service. They call themselves a boutique exchange because they are smaller. So they can have someone reach out to you if you have a problem or if you have a question. You can get to someone, a real person, within a minute usually of you contacting them on the website. So definitely check this out underneath the video. There's also a link to CoinW and Blowfin and BYDFI. Those are some great exchanges too. So if you want to try something else out, you can check out those links underneath the video. Now, Jason Lowry is someone that you might not know if you're newer to the market or if you're just popping back in. He was making a book. He made a book called Soft War, and this was one of the best sellers on Amazon. I believe it actually hit #1 in the finance category, and this is during the bear market. It hit #1. I think it even sold out, and then it was taken down very abruptly. And the reasoning for that's quite interesting, but he just tweeted, "There's so much I want to say," and then zipper mouth. So what his book was about was basically using Bitcoin as a strategic national defense mechanism. And honestly, a lot of it's above my head. He was an astronautical engineer. He was at MIT. He was he was presenting this to the government. And then all of a sudden, his big thought process was that it's an cybersecurity instrument and that it could be used more than just financial technology. He presented this to people in the national defense for the US. And then all of a sudden, he made this post on Twitter saying, "For those asking what's going on with me, I was ordered to take software down and asked to stop talking about the subject publicly. Can't talk details, but things are good and I'm working hard behind the scenes. Appreciate the kind words." And now this original tweet is gone. If you try to go to it, you can't even find it. It was deleted off of Twitter. Now, this got a lot of people thinking, what the heck is happening? Because I remember making a video about this at the time, about a year ago, and saying, this is fascinating. Imagine you spend a year working on a book. You spent, I don't know, multiple years researching and presenting this. This is your baby. You're starting to make money from it on Amazon. Like it's one of the best sellers. And then it gets, you get forced to take it down. And you're happy about it. Like, what is happening in there that you're not livid? Like, if I worked on something for years and I started making money from it, and then I was told to take it down, I would be pissed, right? That would be like my way of getting in the ecosystem. That would be my way of presenting my information, my viewpoint. That's my money maker. I've spent years doing this. I thought maybe there's something happening behind the scenes. Like, okay, maybe the government says this is a good idea. We don't want this out there for other countries. Even though it's been out there a little bit, like it's still early. There aren't a ton of copies out there. Take it down. We'll pay you. And then we want your help really implementing the strategy. And what's so interesting, this proof of work in national security section here, we we know that the government had Bitcoin that they publicly said they were going to sell last year. I think it was around 200,000, and they didn't sell it. They didn't sell it, and then they never commented on it again, why they didn't sell it. Things have been changing in the political landscape in general in the US for cryptocurrencies. Makes me think maybe there's more going on right now than what we know. Maybe the US is actually buying Bitcoin. Maybe it's mining Bitcoin behind the scenes. I mean, honestly, if I had to bet, I definitely think they are buying some Bitcoin and that they hold the Bitcoin that they are obviously confiscated. I would think that they're also mining Bitcoin as well. Because, I mean, they can print unlimited amounts of money. Why wouldn't you have this as part of a defense strategy, right? If this does become the global currency, we already know that Russia and China and India and South Africa, the BRICS nations recently said that they're going to try cryptocurrency as a payment rail. So it would be just dumb if you can print all the money in the world and you don't have some kind of hedge, right? Imagine how stupid that would be. This is really interesting, especially with Jason Lowry recently saying there's so much I want to say, taking down the original post. He has been tweeting more, but not anything significant, not anything that really gives us information. But I think that if he's saying this, if he's even tweeting that there's so much he wants to say, that he probably will say something in the near future, right? Like you say this kind of stuff when you've got a secret and you can't wait to tell someone and you know you can tell them eventually, but like you wouldn't be playing around with this if the government told you you can't say anything, right? Like he would just go dark essentially, which is what he did for a while. So I don't know. This is super interesting to me. I think that there are going to be nations that buy and they don't care about the price. Right? If you can print your own money, if you're trying to get to a certain amount of Bitcoin, if you're trying to get in a strategic spot, you probably don't care if you're buying at 70,000, 75,000, 80,000. You're just like, we just need to get some of this. And you know what's crazy? Biden just passed a $1.2 trillion bill. I'm just putting all the pieces together. He just passed that. $900 billion was to the Department of Defense, which I thought was really large. Like, obviously, the U.S. spends a lot on defense, but that still seemed like a significant amount to me compared to the overall bill. I'm just saying there's a decent chance that they could be using some of that for Bitcoin, or somehow they lose some of it, right? Like the Pentagon does every single year. They can never pass an audit. Well, where do you think some of that money goes, right? I don't know if the government would necessarily want to say at this point that they're buying Bitcoin, because, I mean, imagine the uproar from people that don't like cryptocurrency. They would think that this is BS. They would think that the government's doing some shady stuff, trying to pump crypto bags. Imagine that. But it definitely, I think, is part of their hedging in this world. Now, we also know there's some kind of big buyer. I'm not saying that this is necessarily the US, but just yesterday, take a look at this thread. This is from HODL 15 Capital. We had a decent day for volume. IBIT was around 2.6 billion, GBTC around 1.55, FBTC at 1.26. Let's scroll to the top three ETFs. So first of all, we have GBTC with $350 million worth of selling, 5,000 Bitcoin outflowing. Now, we know that they're talking about lowering their fees because they've seen so many people leave, so many people sell, and either go into something else or just stay out of the market. They're bleeding assets, a really short-term approach to the market. We saw some shorts liquidated, so maybe that caused the price. Obviously, that caused the price to go up a little bit. FBTC had a big day with 262 million, the most that they've had in over a week by a significant amount. And then IBIT only had a plus $35.4 million day, only 500 Bitcoin. So overall, with these big ETFs and the smaller ETFs, we had a total of $16 million in inflows. And yet the price of Bitcoin went up 5%. So HODL 15 said either IBIT and FBTC had strong days and meaningfully offset GBT's outflows, or there was a large-scale buying by a non-ETF. And that's true. Like, FBTC had a strong day. IBIT had a pretty bad day for them, but it offset GBTC. I mean, it was basically net zero, right? There's a little bit of buying, 16 million, but overall, there was some large buyer because we moved up significantly. I mean, just look at this, right? Let's go to the one day here. We had a big green candle yesterday, and the day before, and the day before. So you can see just like the last 3 days have been really good, going from 63,000, even before that, like 61,000, I believe, is where we fell to. And now we're up at 70, 71. So someone came in, and again, I'm not saying that was necessarily the U.S. government, but someone has deep pockets to be able to force Bitcoin's price up. And of course, we had shorts being liquidated, but to be able to force Bitcoin's price up by 5%, you're probably looking at a few $1 billion worth of buying. So someone bought a significant amount and did so in a strategic way, because we haven't seen some new wallet pop up on the scene, at least from what I've seen. I've not seen some new wallet swallow up a lot of Bitcoin. So it's most likely smaller wallets that some big entity has, unless everyone just happened to buy on the same day. It's possible. But yeah, still, the ETFs are going to be a driving force in the market. I really do think that. I think that they're going to make all the difference this next bull run. But the last 6 days has been a little bit subpar. Now, I will say they did flip from net negative to net positive, which is good. And there's only so much selling that can happen from GBTC. I also think FOMO will kick in at some point where, Bitcoin's price hits new highs again. And then people are like, oh, crap, I need to get more Bitcoin. The easiest way is IBIT or FBTC. And then they go into the brokerages and buy that. So we will see large inflows in the future. Now, one other thing that I want to cover, this is a crypto that I'm going to be investing in. SatoshiSync, I'm not getting paid to talk about this by any means. It's just something that I'm excited about, and it's happening soon. SatoshiSync is a BRC20 token. There are tokens that have done extremely well, like Satoshi VM. A lot of people hated on that because there were some sellers early on, but it went up. I think it's up like 70x from the time that it launched. So, I've talked about CDFI before on the channel. I am bullish on CDFI. I hold CDFI. And SatoshiSync is going to launch on CDFI. Now, I'll be honest, I have not looked at the starting market cap in a while, but last time I wrote it down, it was going to start under $1 million, fully diluted right around 6 million. Now, this is very small for how much hype is in this. Like, I think this is going to be literally probably one of the best launches of the year, and I want to be careful because I don't like to have high expectations coming into a launch, but I think this is going to be freaking massive. And typically what we see is we see a huge spike right when these cryptos launch, and then some people take profits. That's what we saw with Satoshi VM. Like it went up, 150x from when it launched. And some people took profits, and then it fell 70% or something like it, 75%. And now it's up like another 3x from that point. So it's almost, it went up to within a few dollars, or like within about 30% of all-time high. Once it hit all-time high, came back down, it settled back around $7 to $10. It went up to 15 originally at launch. So if you can get in on this through CDFI or through Ape Terminal, which we'll talk about in a second, and you can get in early, I think it could do extremely well. Also, if you can buy after that initial pump, if we see a cool off period, I think that would also be a smart move as well. If you can get in after it falls down a little bit, I think that would be real smart, to be honest. And again, I'm not trying to sell you on this. I'm just saying I think it could do really well. And I talked about Satoshi VM before it launched several times. People that got in on the launch, like when it launched, still are up like 70x. Pre-sale investors are up even more. So like there's a lot of potential in these kind of IDOs. This is the IDO season. This is the launch pad season. So get ready, because they're going to be insane launches that do 1,000x, more even than that. So be ready for some huge launches in the future. Now let's go through a little bit more about SatoshiSync. They're not just launching on CDFI. They're also going to be launching on Ape Terminal. This is going to be big. Multiple of the largest launch pads with some of the best launches in the space. You can see it on Ape Terminal. They give a little explanation for what SatoshiSync is. They are an ecosystem of Bitcoin layer 1 and layer 2 tools, and they are in partnership with layer 0 and Chainlink. They have crossed over 30,000 users within a week of their product launch. All projects that launch in the ecosystem are airdropping tokens to sync stakers. So Celestia model, $14 billion fully diluted valuation. The first airdrop is a Bitcoin layer 2 fueled by Celestia DA. SatoshiSync allows anyone to make inscriptions on layer 1 and Bitcoin layer 2 in just a few clicks, taking a fee for sync or SSNC exposure to the entire Bitcoin inscription ecosystem. Now you can go follow them. Like I said, they are launching here very soon. They are doing giveaways as well. Like on their Twitter page, you can see BYDFI is doing a giveaway with them for $5,000 worth of their token. So I mean, that could be worth a lot. They also added Charlie Shrem. So in case you don't know who he is, he's a Bitcoin OG. I actually read about him for the first time in the book. What was it? The Bitcoin Billionaires. He was really early into cryptocurrency. He founded BitInstant. Like, he was around before the Winklevoss twins. I think he was one of the people that orange pilled the Winklevoss twins, which they have billions of dollars of crypto. Founders of Gemini. They also started Facebook with Zuckerberg. Like, this is kind of interesting that they got him as an advisor. I think that's really cool. And they also just announced a partnership with Layer 0 Labs. I'll leave a link to their Twitter page underneath the video as well. Again, I'm not getting paid to talk about them. I'm not partnered with them. I just am investing in the project. I think it's going to do well. Now, of course, do your own research, right? I could be wrong, but I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know your thoughts on Jason Lowry, on what's happening behind the scenes, on the ETFs as well. I'll see you in the next video. If you want to start trading, again, there are links to Margex underneath the video, and there's also a link to CoinW. They also have a new trading group that you can get access to for my viewership, which is really cool. You can go after you sign up for CoinW, you can go to the link underneath the CoinW link. There's another one for a private trading group. I'll never reach out to you, by the way, and ask for like you to send me money or anything like that. I had someone on Patreon kind of get bamboozled recently, thinking that they were talking to me. They had sent a test transaction, but luckily they did not send more. Believe me, I'm never going to reach out to you personally. I'm never going to ask you to give me feedback on anything except in the comment section. So be careful out there. There are going to be more scammers, especially as our bags move up in price. It becomes more profitable to scam people. So be careful out there. Don't click on any weird links. Don't start talking to any people that you think are your friends or YouTubers and start talking about trading. Just be careful. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I will see you in the next video.